Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the most scintillating and exclusive updates from the heart of Los Angeles. Today is a magnificent day to dive deep into the glamorous, yet ruthlessly cutthroat world of high fashion, where loyalties are tested and empires clash. Grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let us unpack the explosive drama that is about to change everything. The glittering skyline of Los Angeles has long served as the picturesque backdrop for the fiercest corporate battles, but absolutely nothing could have prepared the fashion industry for the seismic shockwave that just ripped through the city. The highly anticipated launch of Logan's new signature perfume line was supposed to be a standard, albeit glamorous, affair. Katie Logan, radiating an aura of unyielding confidence and strategic brilliance, had meticulously orchestrated an evening designed to cement her fashion house as the undisputed pinnacle of modern elegance. The venue was draped in opulent luxury, the air thick with the scent of ambition, expensive champagne, and the flashing bulbs of the paparazzi. Every major publication, fashion critic, and industry insider was present, their pens poised and cameras ready, entirely unaware that they were about to witness the dawn of a catastrophic corporate war. This was not merely a product launch. It was a carefully concealed trap, a masterclass in corporate espionage and retaliation that would forever alter the balance of power between the legacy families. Across town, within the hallowed, glass-paneled walls of Forrester Creations, Steffy Forrester Finnegan operated under a dangerous illusion of absolute security. Steffy, the formidable co-CEO who had recently orchestrated the ousting of her longtime rival, Hope Logan Spencer, believed her empire was impenetrable. Her confidence was anchored by the impending contract renewal of Fanny Greyson, an international supermodel and the undisputed crown jewel of the fashion world. Fanny's name alone carried the weight of millions in guaranteed revenue, a brand ambassador whose face could launch 1,000 collections and secure global dominance. Steffy had been so certain, so arrogantly assured that Fanny's loyalty belonged exclusively to Forrester Creations, that she had already begun factoring the renewal into her quarterly projections. She had dismissed the growing rumblings of Logan's corporate resurgence as mere background noise, vastly underestimating the lethal combination of Katie's ambition and the vengeance of a wronged Logan. Back at the Logan perfume launch, the atmosphere reached a fever pitch as the lights dimmed and a hush fell over the extravagant ballroom. Katie Logan stepped up to the crystal podium, her smile a razor-sharp curve that hinted at the devastation she was about to unleash upon her rivals. She spoke eloquently about the future of Logan, about bold innovation, and about breaking free from the archaic chains of the past, a thinly veiled, venomous jab at Forrester Creations. The media hung onto her every syllable, sensing the crackling electricity in the room. Katie knew that in the high-stakes world of haute couture, perception is reality, and tonight, she was about to shatter Forrester's reality into a million irreparable pieces. With a dramatic pause that seemed to suspend time itself, she announced the new global face of the Logan brand, a name that would echo through the canyons of Los Angeles and strike straight into the heart of her enemies. The heavy velvet curtains parted, and the collective gasp from the media was deafening. Stepping into the blinding cascade of camera flashes was none other than Fanny Greyson. Radiant, ethereal, and draped in a custom Logan masterpiece that accentuated her iconic silhouette, Fanny's presence on that stage was an act of corporate treason that defied comprehension. The journalists scrambled in a frenzied panic, their fingers flying across keyboards as they rushed to break the story of the decade. Fanny Greyson, the untouchable muse of Forrester Creations, had officially defected. The visual imagery of Fanny standing shoulder to shoulder with a triumphant Katie Logan was a profound declaration of dominance. It was a coup d'etat executed with such flawless precision that it left the seasoned fashion veterans in the room utterly paralyzed with shock and awe. Word of the betrayal reached Steffy Forrester Finnegan with the terrifying speed of a wildfire, and her reaction was nothing short of volcanic. The sheer audacity of the move shattered her meticulously composed exterior, replacing it with a primal, blinding fury that consumed her entirely. This was not just a lost contract. It was a devastating public humiliation, a direct, unforgivable challenge to her authority and the legacy of her family's empire. Unable to contain her rage, Steffy bypassed her security detail, her mind entirely fixated on the need for immediate, visceral confrontation. She descended upon the Logan event like a hurricane, her eyes blazing with a dangerous, unchecked fire. The media, already intoxicated by the drama of Fanny's reveal, practically salivated as Steffy violently pushed through the venue doors, a physical manifestation of Forrester's unbridled wrath. The tension in the ballroom snapped as Steffy marched straight onto the illuminated stage, her heels clicking ominously against the polished floor, cutting through the murmurs of the crowd. She completely ignored the frantic whispers of the public relations teams and the blinding glare of the paparazzi who were capturing every second of this unscripted chaos. Steffy confronted Katie with a ferocity that bordered on the terrifying. She demanded answers, her voice trembling with a potent mixture of utter disbelief and pure, unadulterated anger. How could Logan, a company she viewed as secondary and struggling, pull off a heist of this monumental magnitude? Steffy's mind raced desperately, trying to calculate the mechanics of the betrayal. She aggressively accused Katie of underhanded tactics, of illegal bribery, of violating the sacred, unwritten codes of the fashion industry. But Katie simply stood her ground, her calm, collected demeanor serving as the perfect, infuriating counterpoint to Steffy's explosive public meltdown. It was in this moment of peak hostility that Katie Logan decided to slowly twist the knife, delivering the fatal blow she had been holding in reserve for maximum impact. With a serene, almost pitying look directed at the furious Steffy, Katie leaned intimately into the microphone and revealed the true architect of this monumental victory. It was not Katie who had secured Fanny Greyson's highly coveted signature. It was Hope Logan Spencer. The name hung in the air, heavy, lethal, and dripping with irony. Katie detailed how Hope, demonstrating a level of ruthless business acumen no one knew she possessed, had secretly boarded a private flight to Paris. While Steffy was busy gloating over Hope's painful departure from Forrester Creations, Hope was sitting in a chic Parisian cafe, systematically dismantling Steffy's empire by convincing Fanny that Logan was the innovative future, and Forrester was a decaying relic of the past. The psychological impact of this revelation on Steffy was absolutely catastrophic. The color drained entirely from her face as the horrifying, undeniable reality set in. Hope Logan Spencer, the woman Steffy had continuously underestimated, the woman she had practically bullied out of the COSIO orbit, the defeated enemy she thought she had permanently vanquished, had just orchestrated the most devastating theft in Forrester history. This was not merely a business transaction. It was an intimate, deeply personal act of vengeance that cut to the bone. Hope had used the agonizing pain of her rejection to forge an unstoppable weapon, and she had aimed it directly at Steffy's heart. The sickening realization that she had inadvertently created the monster that was now tearing down her beloved house was a bitter, jagged pill that Steffy simply could not swallow. The vivid imagery of Hope's secret Parisian mission played like a cinematic sequence in the minds of everyone present in that ballroom. Picture Hope, shedding her traditionally passive, accommodating persona, stepping onto the cobblestone streets of Paris with a singular, burning objective. She had utilized every ounce of her innate charm, her deep, unparalleled understanding of fashion, and her intimate knowledge of Forrester's internal corporate vulnerabilities to sway Fanny Greyson. Hope had masterfully painted a picture of a stifled, dictatorial environment at Forrester under Steffy's rule, contrasting it beautifully with the creative liberation, total control, and family-centric vision offered at Logan. It was a masterstroke of persuasion, a stunning testament to Hope's evolution from a tragic victim of circumstance to a formidable apex predator in the unforgiving corporate jungle. Standing on that stage, completely enveloped by the flashing cameras and the stunned silence of the crowd, Steffi's fury morphed into something far more dangerous, a cold, calculated, and terrifying thirst for absolute destruction. The public humiliation was too profound, the betrayal too deep to be settled quietly in boardrooms or through mediated settlements. Steffi looked directly into the lenses of the media, her eyes dark with malice, and made a chilling, unforgettable public vow. She swore, with every ounce of her being, that she would annihilate Hope Logan Spencer's career at Logan at all costs. She promised to utilize the vast, unlimited, and terrifying resources of the Forrester empire to crush Hope's new line before it even saw the light of day. This was a dark declaration of total, uncompromising war, a promise that the pristine streets of Los Angeles would soon run red with the metaphorical blood of their brutal corporate rivalry. Steffi's threat was not an empty, heat-of-the-moment boast. It was the definitive ignition sequence for a brutal, protracted legal war that would inevitably shake the very foundations of the global fashion industry. She immediately began shouting accusations of tortious interference, breach of implied contracts, and malicious corporate espionage. The Forrester legal team, a notoriously aggressive assembly of the city's most ruthless and expensive attorneys, will be unleashed upon the Logan fashion house with a terrifying mandate to seek and destroy. Injunctions, subpoenas, and multi-million-dollar lawsuits would become the new, devastating weapons of choice. Steffi made it abundantly clear that she was prepared to burn the entire fashion industry to the ground if it meant ensuring that Hope Logan Spencer burned in the ashes alongside it. This unprecedented escalation marks a terrifying point of no return for the two legacy families. The relationship between the Forresters and the Logans, which has always teetered precariously on a razor-thin wire of fragile alliances, shared history, and underlying resentment, has officially and irreparably shattered. We are no longer witnessing a mere professional rivalry. We have entered a dark era of total, scorched-earth war. Every employee, every designer, and every family member will be violently forced to choose a side. The collateral damage will be immense, tearing relentlessly through the fabric of their intertwined lives and leaving a tragic trail of broken relationships in its wake. There is no middle ground left to stand on. You are either a loyal Forrester or you are a defiant Logan. The psychological toll this total war will take on the patriarchs and matriarchs of these families cannot be overstated. Ridge Forrester, already caught in an agonizing, soul-crushing tug-of-war between his fierce, protective loyalty to his daughter Steffi and his deep, complicated, enduring love for his wife Brooke Logan Forrester, will find himself in an absolutely impossible position. Brooke, who has recently fought tooth and nail to secure a place of power for Hope at Forrester, will undoubtedly and fiercely defend her daughter's brilliant, albeit ruthless, strategic maneuver. The ensuing arguments between Ridge and Brooke are destined to be explosive, as the toxic corporate battlefield spills directly into the sanctity of their living room. Their marriage, already severely strained by the recent Cosio drama, may not possess the strength to survive the sheer, devastating velocity of this new, catastrophic conflict. Meanwhile, Katie Logan stands tall and resolute amidst the swirling chaos, a brilliant general who has just won a massive, decisive battle but knows the grueling war is only just beginning. She has successfully weaponized Hope's pain, turning the exiled designer into the ultimate, unstoppable Trojan horse. But Katie must also immediately prepare her defenses. She knows the wrath of Steffi Forrester Finnegan is a terrifying force of nature, an unstoppable juggernaut fueled by wounded pride and an insatiable desire for vengeance. Logan Fashion House will have to drastically fortify its legal and public relations departments, bracing for the relentless, punishing siege that Steffi is currently mobilizing from the Forrester Tower. The stakes have never been higher, and the cost of failure for either side is absolute unforgiving ruin. As the dust finally begins to settle on the most explosive and consequential perfume launch in Los Angeles history, one thing is abundantly, terrifyingly clear. The landscape of high fashion has been irrevocably altered. Hope Logan Spencer has definitively proven that she is a massive force to be reckoned with, a strategic genius capable of striking a lethal blow at the very heart of her enemies. Steffy Forster Finnegan, deeply wounded but infinitely dangerous, is preparing to unleash absolute hellfire in a brutal, uncompromising legal crusade. The cameras may have stopped flashing for the night, but the total war has only just begun. The battle lines are drawn in permanent ink, and as these two powerful titans of industry prepare to violently collide, the world watches with bated breath, knowing that only one fashion empire can possibly emerge victorious from